The answer is you've got to be committed. The question is, what does it take to change my life? Hello, Crossroads. My name is Otis Williams, and I want to tell you a story about the one word that changed my life forever. There was a time when I was totally terrified of heights. And one of my life's philosophies is whatever you don't face will stay in your face. So I decided to face and conquer this dream killer once and for all. And to defeat this enemy, I decided to do what any normal person who had a high fear of heights would do. I joined the military and I volunteered to become an airborne paratrooper. So I go to jump school, and jump school is 3 weeks long. You've got ground week, tower week, and jump week. During ground week, you do stuff on the ground. Tower week, you do stuff in the tower. And if you pass and you meet the requirement for ground week and tower week, you move on to jump week. Now, something strange and phenomenal happens at jump week. The black hats, those are the instructors at jump school, they get very nice. And so I'm wondering, why are they being so nice to us now? Because during ground week and tower week, they are the complete embodiment of evil. They are mean, they are toxic, they're trying to do everything they can legally do to get you to give up and quit. And then it dawned on me, we're getting ready to jump out of a perfectly good aircraft for our very first time. So they want the trauma, Kim, to be very low. So it's Monday morning of jump week. We find ourselves in the hangar. We're putting our parachutes on, getting geared up. Black hats are going around there checking. They're making sure everything's okay. And then a black hat yells, he says, "Gentlemen, make sure all the furniture is in one room." And I'm thinking to myself, why is this guy talking about furniture at a time like this? I don't understand. But anyway, we get suited up. The thumbs up come. We take off, and we're down the pathway, getting ready to go on our nice journey. So our very first jump is going to be out of a C-130. We load the monster of this aircraft from the back. The back comes down. We get on. We load it. We sit on the sides of it, and we wait till everybody gets there. And then this thing wheels up. We taxi down the runway, and then before you know it, boom, we're in the air, off into the great blue yonder. So it's about 15, 20 minutes where we reach what we call jump altitude. And now jump altitude for a combat jump is 1,250 feet. So it's not a lot of time if something goes wrong for you to take corrective measures. So at this time, the doors on the C-130 open, the wind rushes in, slaps you across the face, wakes you up as if you were sleeping. And then you've got black hats, one on each side. They stick their head out of the door and they're looking for the drop zone. So they're looking, they come back in and they say, 10 minutes. So you rock. As you repeat it, you go 10 minutes, 10 minutes. That's to let everybody know this thing is about to go down. It's for real. So then they disappear out the door again. They look for the drop zone. They come back. They say 5 minutes. What do? You rock. Let's go. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. There you go. So then they disappear one last time looking for the drop zone. They come back in. Drop zone coming up. First through the pass. Stand up. Hook up, shuffle to the door. So you got 10 on this side of the plane, 10 on this side of the plane. They stand up, hook up static lines, everything's ready. Then you hear this. First man, stand in the door. Nobody moves. So the black hat says, first man, stand in the door. Nobody moves. So then he looks directly at me. He says, son, you're the first man. Get in the door. And I'm in the door. So he's on the side of me, and then he gives me this speech. He says, you are going to be the first one out of this aircraft. You are going to set the example for the rest of these paratroopers. I need you to watch that light. When that light turns green, you will exit this aircraft. In other words, when this plane lands, you will not be on it. Have I made myself perfectly clear? Yes, I did! So I'm watching the light, right? Boop, 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 boop. Bam, it turns green. Out the door with a nice foot in the rear to help me out. So I'm falling between 20 and 25 feet per second. So it's a nice clip. And I look up and everything is fine until I look up, because I look up and I notice that I have what the military calls is a malfunction. In other words, my chute wasn't open. And so at that altitude, I could see the ambulance leaving and coming to where I'm supposed to land. And I'm like, that's not a good thing right there. Right? So I start depending on my airborne training, and I start bicycling. At that point, you can see the black hats on the ground. They're grabbing megaphones, anything they can, and they're saying, faster! And I'm thinking, dude, I'm giving her all I got, Captain. I mean, I'm bicycling as fast as I can. So I'm bicycling, and all of a sudden I start turning. This is a good thing, right? Very good. So I'm turning, and I'm turning, and I'm turning, and bam! All of a sudden my chute opens, and I'm like, this is awesome. Then I clearly understood what the sergeant was talking about when he said, make sure all your furniture is in one room, because mine was not. Anyway, I hit the ground really hard. Bam! The medics are there. They're checking me out, making sure everything's okay. They were absolutely amazed. I didn't break anything. One of the black hats is there, and he says, son, how you doing? I'm like, I'm all right. I'm doing pretty good. He says, you feel pretty good? You feel good? Yes, Sergeant, I feel great. He says, all right, gather your chute, and let's go back to the hangar and get ready for another jump today. I'm like, excuse me? Today? He was like, yes, today. I'm like, why today? And he says, because we're expecting bad weather tomorrow, and we got to get as many jumps in as we can so we can get you guys to graduate by Friday. And I'm like, oh my God. Gather all my stuff. We back in the hangar, redoing the whole thing. Now, my second jump was absolutely flawless. It was wonderful, total different from the other one. After I exited the aircraft, I'm descending at a nice rate. I can sip lattes, all that kind of great stuff, right? I am able to see for miles. It's a state of bliss. And in this state of bliss, I clearly heard God say to me, look up. So I look up, and then he says, can you get back in that aircraft? And the answer was no. And he said, now you know what it takes to change your life. Commitment. You see, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I believe. That the blessings that God has for you and me live on the other side of doubt and fear. And to get on the other side of doubt and fear, it takes commitment. It takes giving everything you've got, holding nothing back. It's taking all your chips, pushing them to the center of the table and saying, I'm all in. It is when your ship reaches the shore, you give the order to burn the boats and you say, either I die or I win. It is counting the cost and jumping out of the aircraft anyway. It's to get to the other side. Now, I know that level of commitment may be a little scary for some of you. But let me leave you with this, a little word of encouragement from God's word. In Philippians, in that book, God's word reminds us that we can do all things through Christ which strengthens us. So here's the command I'm leaving you with. Commit, make the jump, and go get what God has for you. And I'll see you on the other side of doubt and fear. Airborne all the way. Hoop!